Caspa didn't go sub penny in September as I suspected it may. And so I was incorrect on that. The question, of course, for the follow-up there is, do I regret selling my Caspa at a lower price? We'll go over that, what that has turned into now, and when will I invest in Caspa ASIC miners if I decide to invest in them at all. Let's get into it. Welcome back, everybody. As you may recall, I was pretty down on Caspa regarding the ASICs coming onto the network. In fact, I really still haven't changed that opinion. For the most part, I am an ASIC resistant type guy. That being said, even from the beginning, I stated, and I still stand behind the fact that it was fully expected that Caspa would move into ASICs. My plays, of course, are not to participate in small cap coins that are on ASICs as far as the mining side of things goes, because there is a lot more risk in that particular factor, and you only have a few manufacturers, if more than one at all. In this particular case with Caspa, we have the Ice River machines, and then we have the Bitmain machines, both at pretty low quantities. That being said, the actual overall shift into ASICs has been quite impressive. It's been pretty smooth, and the price has continued to appreciate on Caspa in general. Now here most recently crossing the 5-cent mark. So do I regret selling my Caspa for ASICs at 2.2 cents? Well, here's my thoughts, because on my channel, like I've talked about before, I am always about generating revenue. I'm of the mindset that if I'm not generating revenue, and if I'm just sitting on an investment waiting for it to go up, then I am not being active. And if I am not being active, then I have a higher likelihood of not being able to grow. So from that perspective, I actually don't regret it at all. And it has turned out to be quite lucrative in general to purchase and pick up all of these miners because of the drop in price of the Bitcoin ASIC miners down to like a tenth of what they used to be. And currently I have, after utilizing my Caspa to invest in these, I have 22 miners online right now with a weekly income of $965 US, a projected monthly income of $4,137, and a projected yearly income of $50,339. Now, that's not indicative of actual profit on these in particular, because you need to keep in mind that I do have power costs to take care of. Now, what I have gotten my power costs down to on average is 7.5 cents a kilowatt hour, looking at getting that down even further right now. But to get power down, costs down, you need to have, well, more units to drive the price down, meaning that without the investments that I've made in these miners, I would not be able to drive my cost down. So as a whole, I'm pretty happy with this decision because I'm going in the proper direction, as opposed to previously where I was really at prior to utilizing my Caspa to make this investment, was having a bleeding investment in GPU miners that were continuing to go down and down and down in profitability, and no way to recover that revenue to cover the rent and the power cost on them. And what this also does for me is free up my GPUs to go back to mining things like I did with Caspa in general, where I can go do high yield mining with those particular GPUs, build up some bags, and then wait until they hit a nice price pump as Caspa did, and sell. Another thing is, and this is the game, to be completely honest with you, nobody's going to time the top. I'm not going to time the top, you're not going to time the top, and so on. And I've been bit more times waiting on something to go up more than I have by selling. And so that is kind of my reasoning behind it. As far as when will I get into purchasing more Caspa miners if I decide to get into Caspa mining, here's the deal. I have a few what you would call altcoin or shitcoin miners that are ASICs. I have a BMK1 with the IB link for the Kadena mining. I have a Dash D9, which has been for the Dash mining, and then a few other little ones here. I like to collect some library coin miners because I like the library project. I have, a few Dogecoin miners, L3 pluses with like the Hive OS and cheap stuff like that. Most of them not running. And what I have noticed on all of those is, for example, the IB Link BMK1 is pretty much unprofitable at this point. And then the D9 had a spurt of profitability thanks to a new coin called BlockX that released for a little bit, but that has come back down into the range of essentially the same profitability as my S19 Pros. So they're not necessarily killing it out there. And there is basically this fear and uncertainty, of course, and doubt surrounding how well these miners in particular will handle not only, of course, the increase in difficulty on the Caspa network, but the price changes on the Caspa network. But of course, how will they handle it when the emissions start to run out? As everybody knows, I think at this point, the Caspa emissions are extremely fast, meaning that your longevity on, say, a Caspa KS3 for profitability is going to be potentially cut pretty short compared to picking up a Bitcoin miner. Now, of course, Bitcoin miners are getting developed over and over again, and efficiency is king, and making sure you do your upgrades right and so on and so forth can be extremely difficult as well. That being said, what I'm looking at right now is an April timeframe for the Caspa mining investments if I do decide to make them. And my price target for like the KS3, for example, from Bitmain would be between $5,000 and $8,000 per unit. We've already seen them come down over 50% since their launch, and I presume as the difficulty increases and the yields start to dwindle, the price of that miner should be able to come down even further. To compound on this fact, the thing is a lot of these miners are always overpriced from Bitmain off the rip. Their BOM cost to manufacture is not near what they charge for one of these things. And the actual cost really for these things should be somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000, where Bitmain is making a profit, the third-party seller is making a profit, and the miner at the end of the day is within a reasonable ROI. I would suspect you would want to be around 140 days to 220-day ROI on your calculation before you purchase one at this time. And I think that's been kind of indicative of what these fall out around to when we're talking about comparing them to the Kadena miners or the Dash miners, etc. So there's all my reasonings, and of course, congratulations to everybody that has purchased Caspa and made a bunch off of it. I am super grateful to the community as well as to Caspa in general for enabling me to basically make my mining farm profitable again. I'm not going to share any of my private bags for Caspa at this time anymore. It definitely wasn't something that I enjoyed. In fact, I really just don't enjoy a lot of the discussions surrounding it. I'd rather keep all of that separate now, but I will continue to share the profitability of the mining farms, etc., the miners, that sort of thing, so you guys can stay on top of things if you're interested in mining. I am by no means a trader, and I probably should have stayed away from trading analysis in general. I have learned a lot though, and I'll continue to take a look at all of the price and stuff like that and discuss it, but I will focus on mining and know my place. Thanks everybody for watching. Hit the like, comment, subscribe, and notification bells down below. Let me know if you're picking up a Caspa miner. At what price point would you pick one up? Are you interested in those kind of timeshares from tactical investing, the NFTs for mining Caspa? Is that something you're going to get into? All of these questions, let me know down below. I'll see you next Tuesday. Don't forget, you can check out my crypto mining e-course at sonofatech.com. And if you purchase it there, you will get a free month of supporter status on sonofatech.locals.com.